because this is going to be your little cheat. Okay? That's not what I'm saying. Okay? I don't need the extra commentary today. Okay? Because I want to make sure I give you guys plenty of time to work on this. Now, what we're learning today is we're going to be learning the last section of chapter 5. So we'll probably have our test next week. Okay? Now, this is going to be called special right triangles. Okay? So, not yet. Yes, I'm going to make a box. Okay, so look, here's my note card. Okay? So, whatever I write in the note card, you write in the note card. Okay? So, this is not in the note card, but we're learning about special right triangles today. Okay? There's going to be 2 different types. Now, we have to be able to identify the difference between these and when using Pythagorean theorem. Okay? Now, the 2 triangles that we're going to be talking about today, the first one is going to be called a 45-45-90 triangle. So, in your top corner I will change the colors of my pens on here. That is when you should change if you are changing your color. Okay? So, in the top, I'm putting 45, 45, 90. Okay, make sure, do not draw it really big. Okay, this is a little big, but just put that in the top left corner where you can see that. Yeah, you could do this part in pencil. That's perfect. Okay, so for this 45, 45, 90 triangle, okay, these are going to be the angles of the triangle. So do those add up to equal 180? They do, okay? So your triangle needs to be big, okay? So just watch what I do. I'm going to do my triangle just like this. On your note card. See how this is my note card? Leave a little room up here, leave a little room down here. That big. I don't need the extra commentary. No. Okay. Now, on the bottom, in the bottom corners, you're going to want it bigger than that. In the bottom corners, okay, I'm going to put 1, 1, square root 2, and then over here I'm going to put x, 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 square root 2. 1, 1, square root 2, x, 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 square root 2. Okay, now, those are going to be the ratios. If this part doesn't make any sense, that's okay. But that's going to help us kind of identify our values. Okay, so I have this right triangle. Okay, I have my 90-degree angle. I'm going to go ahead and mark where my 45-degree angles are. Okay? So the biggest thing that we need to pay attention to is the opposite side from the angle. Okay? So write this like small, okay? But just before you write anything, I'm going to put a 45 right here. That does not mean the side of the triangle is 45 and it's not 45 degrees. But this side is opposite from my 45-degree angle. Okay? So just pay attention on what that means. So I'm going to go ahead and mark my other ones with 45 and 90. Okay? So that just shows, okay, what those are across from. Okay? Do we see that? Okay. Now I'm going to change the color. And I'm going to do blue. Now, when we have a 45, 45, 90 triangle, if we're given one side, we can actually find the other 2 sides. Okay? And this is what we're going to be doing. So, if I have 2 angles that are 45 degrees, what do you think we can automatically say about these 2 sides? Yeah, they're going to be the same. Good. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put, just watch what I do. I'm going to put, yep, see how I changed the color? And then I'm going to put an equal sign right here. So that just tells me, okay, these 2 are going to be equal. So whatever value, if this side right here where my little red dot is, was 7, what would this side be? It would also be 7. Okay? Perfect. So that's what kind of the 1, 1 means right here. They're just both the same value. Or whatever x is, the other one has the same value. Okay? Now, when we are solving from our 45 to 90, okay, what we're going to do is I'm going to draw a line like this, and I'm going to put an arrow just like this, okay? And on the side, this is going to be multiply. So I'm going to put a dot. We need to multiply by square root 2. Okay? So that means times square root 2. Now, you do not have to do this with this side, but I'm just going to do it on this side as well, just to remind myself, okay, I multiply by square root 2 from my 45 to 90. Okay, so if I say your 45 to 90, I'm talking about your 45 side to your 90 side. Okay, now that's it with the blue pen. I'm going to switch my color one more time, and I'm going to do red. Say it again. If you don't, then you can just keep the blue the same. Okay, if you don't have another color. Okay, now on the inside, what if we're given the value of our 90 and we need to find our 45? What we're going to do, okay, is in order to get to these two sides, I'm going to divide by square root 2. Okay, thank you, Kennedy. Now, this might not make any sense right now, but that is okay. All right, but we're going to do some examples so we can actually use this note card, okay, in order to help us. Now, the biggest thing that I need you to recognize, all right, when we multiply, we are going from a smaller side to a larger side, okay, smaller to larger. When we divide, we're going from a larger side to a smaller side, okay? That's going to be the case for both triangles. So if you can't remember, shoot, do I multiply or divide? Think about what side is larger, okay? Because if you're going larger to smaller, you do what? Divide. And if you're going from smaller to larger, you multiply. Okay, perfect, okay? Now, just keep this note card. If you want to get your notes to do some of the examples, go ahead and do that. But you can just follow along. I'm going to go blue. Now, let's look at these, okay? We're finding the missing side. Okay? And all of these are going to be found in simplest radical form. When we do this one, okay? I'm sorry, I'm trying to make sure we can read everything. No, do not do it on the back of the note card, because we are using the back of the note card for the other triangle. Yeah, I said there's 2. Okay? Now, notice how this is a 45, 45, 90 triangle. Okay, do we see that? Do we recognize that? Now, I have my value of 6 right here. Is 6 across from 90 or is it across from 45? It's across from 45. So what I mean by that is it's across from that angle. Okay, just like that. Now, am I solving for the other 45 or am I solving for the across from 90? Say that again? Yes. But is that across from 90 or across from 45? Yeah, it's across from 90. Okay. Am I going from smaller to larger or larger to smaller? Smaller to larger. So are we going to multiply or divide? Multiply. Okay, perfect. Now, look at your note card. What do we do when we go across from 45 to across from 90? What does it say to do? It says multiply by what? Square root 2. Okay, so we have our value of 6. So what we're going to do with that 6 is we're going to do 6 times square root 2. Okay? Now, can we multiply a square root times a whole number? No. So guess what our answer is? No. Yeah, our answer for x is just going to be 6 square root 2. You were so close. You had half of it. Okay? Now, pretty easy, right? Not too bad? Yeah, we got our answer pretty quick. What would the value, what if I put y right here? What would y be? Yeah, y would just be 6. Yeah, because it's the same side. Perfect, Weston. They're both across from 45, so our y would be 6. Okay, you see that? All right, not too bad. Nikis and Ryan, go put them up. Okay, let's look at this one. Now, this one, it doesn't say the angles are 45. But how do I know that this is a 45, 45, 90 triangle? Because of what? Oh, no, I thought you were about to say it. What does it say at the very top? Isosceles. So that means there's two congruent what? Sides and angles. Okay? So this is going to be a 45, 45, 90. Now, is my square root 7 across from 45 or across from 90? Across from 45. Okay, perfect. And then we are solving for the across from what angle? 90. Am I going to multiply or divide? I'm going to multiply. Okay, what am I multiplying by? Square root 7 times square root 2. Okay, can we actually multiply these? We can. So what's 7 times 2? 14. Now, can the square root of 14 be simplified? No, because when we simplify, okay, you need to take out a square root that comes out as a whole number. So we would need to try, is this divisible by 4? No. Is it divisible by 9? What? Can it even be divisible by 16? No, because that's larger. So think of these 4 for helping us the most, but probably mostly just these 2. Okay, so 4 or 9. If you can take out 4 or 9, it could be simplified. Okay, now our answer right here for x is just square root 14 then. Okay, perfect. All right, so again, we just multiplied. Okay, do we all have this written down? All right, let's go to the next one. Okay, this one. Now, this time we have the value of 10 is across from what angle? No. I was talking about the 10. Yeah, the 10 is across from 90. No, you're good. But yes, the x is across from 45. Now, we're going from across from 45 to across from, we're going from across from 90 to across from 45. What do we do this time? We need to divide, okay? Because we're going from a bigger side to a smaller side. Now, pay attention to what happens here, okay? So listen carefully. I have 10, and we said divided by what? Square root 2. Now, I cannot have a square root in the bottom. So we have to get rid of the square root in the bottom, okay? Here's what happens. In order to get rid of the square root on the bottom, what we're going to do is we need to multiply the bottom times square root 2 and the top. So you got to multiply both the top and the bottom by square root 2. Okay? So now, what is 10 times square root 2? It's 10 square root 2 because we cannot multiply those because one of them is in the square root. What about square root 2 times square root 2? That is not just 4, square root 4. Can this be simplified anymore? What can be simplified? The square root 4 can be simplified. Because what's the square root of 4? It's 2. So let's go ahead. All right, simplify that. So now we have 10 square root 2 over what? Over 2. Can this be simplified anymore? Yeah. It can, how? Divide by what? 2. Divide what by 2? 10. Just 10. Perfect. So what's 10 divided by 2? 5. No. Yeah, the square root 2 cannot be divided because this is not a square root. Okay? So that leaves us with 5 square root 2, and that's our answer. Okay? So this one just had a little bit more work, but all you're doing is just, we divided by square root 2, multiply the top and bottom, and just simplified. Okay? Do we see what happened there? Okay. Now, let me scroll up real quick. Sorry. Okay. Now, our 45, 45, 90s will also be represented by squares. If we have a square, what do all the angles add up to equal? They do 90. Or I did not mean to say add up to equal, but all the angles are 90. Thank you, Nikis. Now, if I put a 90 degree in each box, okay, this diagonal splits these boxes in half. So what's 90 divided by 2? 45. So do we see how there's a 45, 45, 90 triangle now in this box? Okay, so then we can solve it. Okay? This side is across from what? 45. What do I do when I go from across from 45 to across from 90? Multiply by square root 2. 10 times square root 2. Can we multiply those? Nope. So just combine them. That's our answer. Okay? A lot of your 45, 45, 90 are going to be simple. Okay? Try, let's look at this one. Okay? Now, I'm going to go ahead and just put my 45, 45 right here. Okay, I'm going from across from 90 to across from 45. Am I multiplying or dividing? I'm dividing. So what do I need to divide by? Okay. So, now this can be a little tricky. Okay. So I'm going to show you. See, if you have a square root on the bottom, okay, we can do the whole multiplying the top and bottom by square root too. But if we have a square root on top and a square root on bottom that can be divisible, we can do that. So if we did 8 divided by 2, what is that? It's 4, okay? So then, what's the square root of 4? 2. So our answer on this one is x equals 2. Now, if I had this side was 2, let me just write. If I had that this side was 2, well, what do we do from when we're going across from 45 to across from 90? Multiply by square root 2. Well, that would be 2 square root 2, and that's not the same as square root 8. But can the square root of 8 be simplified? It can. What can you take out of square root 8? You can take out 4. So if I had 8, took out square root 4, see how this gives us 2 square root 2? Okay? So if you simplified it before, okay, and then you need to divide by square root 2 like we did up here, these would just cancel. Okay, and you see how we still get 2? Okay? I'm just kind of showing you all the ways that this works. Okay? But I would just do the, if these are both square roots and they're divisible, get square root 4, get your answer of 2. Okay? So our answer is x equals 2 on this one. What about this one? Who can walk me through on what we're going to do on this one? Not everyone at once. Yeah, let's. We're going from across from 90, because I'm going to put my box there, to across from 45. When we go from larger to smaller, we multiply or divide. Wait, we'll just listen and write these down. Okay, what Quinn said is we divide. So we have square root 5 divided by square root 2. Now, we do have a square root on the top and the bottom. Can these be simplified though? No. So we need to get rid of the square root on the bottom. How do I do that? I need to multiply the top and bottom. Okay. What's square root 5 times square root 2? What happens when we have square root 2 times square root 2? That's square root 4. Now, can the square root of 4 be simplified? And what does that come out as? So I have square root 10 over 2. Can this be simplified anymore? Can this be simplified anymore? It cannot. So some of your answers can be left as a fraction, as long as there's not a square root on the bottom. What? Yeah. We will see. If you're good students for the next couple days. So no more throwing. So no more throwing. Okay. Now, that's it with 45, 45, 90. Do we have any questions before I move on? What did I tell you that yesterday? I know, but do not ask that question. I don't like it. Go back to your note card and flip it over.
Let the man do his thing. Stop throwing items. I still have all my items, actually. No, you just threw that at me. I have all my items.
Okay, Kennedy, here's the other side. Okay, it doesn't matter. Now, this one, really be careful with, make sure you make your triangle big enough, okay? This time we're going to be talking about a 30, 60, 90 triangle. Okay, 30, 60, 90. Now, your triangle does need to be big. It should look something like this. But it should be something like that, where you can fit some things underneath. You do not have to fit anything else on top. Okay? Now, I'm going to put, this is going to be my 30, so 30 degrees up here. This is going to be my 60 degrees right here. All right? There's no congruent sides this time. Here's my ratios on the bottom. Okay, yep, and it represents, but this is our 30, this is our 60, this is our 90. And I'm going to put it as variables as well, just in case that helps you. Okay? Yeah. So I'll move it up just a little bit so you all can see. Okay. Now, again, remember, I'm going to put a 30 right here because that's just across from 30. That's across from my 30-degree angle. And I'm going to put my 60 and 90 as well. Does that mean this side is 90? The value of 90. Does that mean the side equals 90 degrees? No. It's just showing us from across. Okay? That's all you need in your one color. Let's switch to the other color. Okay? Now, blue is going to be represented by my multiplying. Okay, like the last one. Red will be represented by the dividing. Okay. This time, All right, let's say we start with our 30-degree side. If I'm going from my 30-degree side to my 90-degree side, just like this, all I do is multiply by 2. That's it. So this side is double of this side. So anytime this side is just half, the 30 is half of the 90 side. Okay? Now, let's say we're going from our 30 to our 60. What we're going to do if we have our 30 side and we're going to across from 60 side, we need to multiply by square root 3. So, I didn't write my multiply by square root 3. Now, this is it for the multiplying. Notice how I did not go from 60 to 90, okay? You cannot do that. There's not like a formula for doing that, okay? So if we happen to have the 60 and we need to solve for the 90, we would need to go to the 30 first and then the 90, okay? So we will have cases like that, just a heads up. Okay, now I'm going to switch my color, all right? And this is going to be the dividing, okay? It's just the opposite of what we did for the multiplying. So if I'm going from 90 to 30, I'm just going to divide by 2. If I'm going from 60 to 30, no, divide by square root 3. Okay? I don't know his name. No, that's his fault. Okay? Do we all have this written down? Let's solve some questions with this, okay? Correct. Okay, so keep that note card beside you. And let's look at some examples. Now, this one. My value of 4 is across from what angle? It's across from 30. What is the value of x is across from what? What do we do when we go from 30 to 90? No, we're going from a smaller side to a larger side. We just times by 2, so what's 4 times 2? 8. X equals 8. Okay? There we go. We just multiply by 2. Perfect. Not too bad. Not too bad. I did not mean for this one to be next, but for some reason it is. It is what? No. Okay, when we have an equilateral triangle, what does equilateral mean? All the sides and all the angles are the same. When we have an equilateral triangle, what do all the angles equal? 45. Say it out loud. 60. So I'm going to put 60 here, 60 here. Now, notice how right here, if I put 60, well, it splits it in half. What's 60 divided by 2? 30. Do I have a 30, 60, 90 triangle now? I do. Okay, perfect. Now, my value of 9 is across from what angle? 30. Across from 30. What about my value of x? 60. So is 30 less than 60? So we're going from a smaller to a larger side. So we multiply. What do we do on the note card? Look, when we go from 30 to 60, we multiply by square root 3. Can we multiply these numbers? No. So x equals what? 9 square root 3. Perfect. Let's see, yeah. Oh. Well, I thought I had your attention for once. No, no, we can talk about this later. We can talk about it later. No. Okay, this one. All right. See if you can do this one on your own. No decimals if you happen to get a decimal. No decimals. But look at your note card and see what do you do on this one. You guys can talk together.
Teach me the ways.
What kind of triangle? That one?
30, yep, sure. I'll
Still have my that's not me.
Mhm.
Dude, what is that?
So what do I do first?
Well, no. What is this across from?
Right.
How many? What degree is that?
90.
Okay, so we're going for across from 90. What's this across from?
This one?
Yeah.
30.
Okay, so let's look at this. So see how we have this? We're going from 90 to 30, right? Follow the arrow. So what do we do?
Divide by 2.
So what's 1 divided by 2? Can we simplify that?
No.
So our answer for x is
2. 1.
what did we do? We divided by 2. So show me 1 divided by 2.
It's 0.5 or 1 over 2.
So write that as a fraction. Okay, let's look at this one. Is that what your question's about, Layla? Now, if you notice, okay, we're going from across from 90 to across from 30. Did we all get that? Okay, if I go to my note card, if I'm going from across from 90, do you guys see my little red dot? Oh, well, now you can. We go from 90 to 30, so just follow the arrow. I'm going to follow this arrow from 90 to 30, and what did it tell me to do on my way? Divide by 2. Did we all do that? Now, if I go back, so I have 1 divided by 2. Well, is 1 divisible by 2? No. So my answer is going to be what? I said no decimals. It's going to be 1/2. Okay? Huh? Yeah, no decimals. Okay? No. All right, square root 10 is across from what angle, Weston? Square root 10 is across from what angle? What angle? Noah, help him out. Square root 10 is across from what angle? 90. No, 90. I asked the wrong, yeah. What about x, James? What is x across from?
60.
Thank you, James.
You
You don't even need to see the number. It doesn't matter. Okay. We need to go from 90 to 60. Can we do that? We cannot. No. There's no arrow from 90 to 60. Now, this is where we have to add one extra step. We need to go 90 to 30 and then 30 to 60. Okay? What happens when I go from 90 to 30? What do I need to do? Divide by 2. So I have square root 10 divided by 2. Can this simplify out anymore? Okay, that's my answer for right here then. Now, what do we do when we go from 30 to 60? Okay, multiply by square root 3. Don't get confused on this. I have square root 10 over 2. And I need to multiply by square root 3. If I have square root 3 as a fraction, how would I write that? Square root 3 over 1. When you multiply by square root 3, only multiply the top. Only the top. Do not multiply the top and bottom by square root 3, okay? Because then that's not right. So, if I only multiply the top, what's square root 10 times square root 3? Can square root 30 be simplified? Is it divisible by 4? Is it divisible by 9? 16? 25? There's our answer. X is going to equal square root 30 over 2. Because it can't be simplified out anymore. Okay? Hands on your desk or behind you. This one. We're going from across from 90 to across from what? Across from 30. What do I do when I go from 90 to 30? Divide by 2. Can I leave it like this? Yep. So why can't I? Can this be simplified out anymore? How? Because this is a square root and this is 2. But can square root 12 be simplified? It can be. Okay? So let's take it over here. If I have square root 12, which of these numbers is it divisible by? 4. So 4 times what equals 12? So square root of 4 is what? Okay, so square root 12 is 2 square root 3. So now I have 2 square root 3 over 2. Can this be simplified out anymore? How? How, James? Yeah, divide the 2's out. So if they're the same number, what happens to them? So my answer for x is what? Okay? You just got to pay attention to the simplifying. I feel like that's the biggest thing you just got to pay attention to. Because you follow your note card on if you multiply or divide. All right? And then you just need to simplify. This one. What are we going to do here? Think about it for a second, then I'm going to ask you all at the same time, so do not blurt out the answer. Okay? Think about what we're going to do on this one. Okay? Oh. Well, just see through this. Oh, so you want to do it for us?
Yeah, she does.
All right, then that's an air ball. Yeah, that was not good, but neither was yours.
What are we doing?
Just look, what are we going to do here? Are we going to multiply or divide? We are doing what? We're dividing, okay? And then everyone at the same time, we divide by what? Square root 3. Okay. So I have across from 60 across from 30. 8 divided by square root 3. Can I have a square root on the bottom? So what do? I got to multiply, well, the top and the bottom. So I got to do that. So now I have 8 square root 3, because those can't combine. Then what's square root 3 times square root 3? Can anything be simplified? What can be simplified? Yeah, what is the square root of 9? So let's write it again. 8 square root 3 over 3. Can this be simplified? No. So this is our answer. Okay? Do we have any questions? Do we need a clarification on how the note card works? Okay. Huh?
Yeah, I think we are chilling.
You can't simplify that. That's your answer. This went way quicker than I thought.
It gives me time to learn.
I'm going to give you guys the rest of class to work on Delta math. There's no reason you shouldn't finish it today. You have
Do I have a
help your partners out. You have me to ask a question.
Let's go, James.
All right, and use your time wisely.